first trailer for the Lord of the Rings of Power, has just dropped. And I'll be honest, everything up until this trailer dropped has been giving me very negative reactions. The posters, that Vanity Fair article with the images. But I'll be honest, this trailer looked actually pretty good for first impressions. What'd you think, Gator?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I've also had negative impressions of things going up to this point. I guess some of the new characters they've shown just kind of look out of place, like that elf that we see in this firing that arrow, right?
Don Lemon.
Right, Don Lemon. His haircut, like his little, like the cut of his hair, whatever. It looks so 21st century.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks out of place. It's like the same kind of thing that happens in modern day Star Wars a lot. But I don't share the sentiment that this is like giving me hope for the series, really, because I kind of expect this to kind of go along the same lines as The Hobbit did, the Hobbit trilogy,
Yeah.
which is just kind of more modernized, fantastical, over the top action, just stuff that I mean, I understand that Lord of the Rings is not a down to earth franchise. Okay, I get that it's crazy and mythical or whatever, but it gets too much. It's too over the top. They try to wow me too hard, and I think this is going to do the same thing. Visually, it looked really nice. Visual effect wise, sure, but I don't know what else. What do you want to talk about?
Well, when you said over the top, I'm not trying to be a defender for this series because I honestly think this series is not going to be good. But if you're telling me Legolas sliding down Helm's Deep with that shield, like a skateboard, isn't over the top, it's like, okay, yeah, there's definitely some over the top stuff in the Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy. And they're few and far between. So I hope whatever this is one of those few times that they're like, oh, this is kind of badass. But other than that, I don't want any more.
No, and I agree. I like that example that you said specifically. It's like, yeah, I could have definitely lived without that.
Yeah.
But the people who made The Hobbit,
Oh, I
they saw
know.
that, and first of all, they loved it. That's their favorite scene in the original trilogy. I guarantee you it was, because then they thought it was acceptable to have every elf like jumping on the heads of the dwarfs as they're riding in barrels, or Legolas like climbing up to some ledge or whatever he did. I don't remember. He was climbing up to a ledge by using falling pieces of rock as steps, like small falling pieces of rock. Like, does this guy weigh 3 pounds, but he's still as strong as a 200-pound man? That kind of stuff is just, it's too much. It's way too much.
I think it's that they make it such a spectacle of it, because we saw Legolas in the first movie like walk on top of the snow, right, while everyone else is like going through it. So he can do that. It's just making it such a, like we said, like this, oh my goodness, he's jumping off of falling rocks. It's over the top.
Yeah, and when they up the scale so much too, it's just, or they up the frequency, it kind of takes away from the previous material where he didn't do it at all. It'd be like in The Phantom Menace. Remember when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon used their force speed ability at the very beginning?
Yeah.
It's like if the prequels were then littered with force speed, if they were using it constantly.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, well, now the original trilogy is just like really undermined.
Yeah, I'm going to give this thing a shot, but there are definitely, like you said, if this is like a warning or basically of things to come on. Oh, dude, that'd be so bad. But also, okay, think about this. He shot an arrow, or somebody shot an arrow at him, and he catches it before it hits the ground. Like, why are you doing that? Just let it hit the ground and pick it up. Like, what is the point of catching the arrow? It's not like
he's testing. He's got to make sure he still got it.
It's like catching a bullet that wasn't even going to hit you. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to do that.
He's showing off just in case one of those people, in case one of those hikers that are wearing moose horns on their back, moose antlers, in case they're watching him from a distance, got to impress them.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Also, Galadriel as like a girl boss adventurer thing, I'm not in it. Right. I don't need She-Ra in this at all. I don't know what their fucking deal is. But the aesthetics of this show look great. I'll say it looks like it's from Lord of the Rings, most if not all of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I said at the beginning too. Like visually, it looks great. I love the landscapes. I love the aesthetic of a lot of the characters. The dwarf that they show looks legit. Again, like there's some weird stuff with some characters, but aside from that, this looks like Lord of the Rings. But I would have the same thing to say about the Hobbit movies too. Not a whole lot from the Hobbit looked out of place at all.
Right.
Like we saw that village that was on the water, and they had those pack of pugs that were living there for some reason. That seemed kind of weird, but I don't know. Like I understand that you're pessimistic as well, but I don't. I'm not depending on the visuals to make me think any higher of this show once it finally airs. And I'm not nearly as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as you are, even though I love the movies and I love the universe. I'm not as big of a fan as you.
Yeah.
But despite that, I think I'm definitely pessimistic about this. I'm connected enough, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I'm like optimistic about it. All I'm saying is you could get things wrong about this, and they're not necessarily getting it all wrong. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, that does kind of like when they have this. Looks like elves. Looks like these elves are battling, and they're kind of like at a standstill. I was like, that looks almost like the battle they show at the prologue in the Lord of the Rings. Now, I'm not saying it is gonna look great. All I'm saying is everything up until now has given me no hope, and this was like, hey, this doesn't look too bad. So
yeah, no, that's true. I can't argue with that. That's true.
There's very few times we bring up the fact that our channel is named Flaccid Phoenix, and the reason why we are flaccid is because there's nothing's getting us hard nowadays. We are literally just sitting here, limp-dicked, waiting for something to get us hard, and it's very rare that we actually get it up. We have erectile nerd function, whatever you want to call it.
All this shitty media is giving us low T, way low T, lowercase T.
Yeah. Listen, those Alex Jones commercials are becoming more and more tempting to me.
Okay, well, I've been subscribed for a while, so
it shows.
This is definitely a teaser, man. This is definitely a teaser.
Yeah.
I kind of did. I skimmed over some things, like the elf who shot the arrow, and I guess I mentioned the mountain packers or whatever that have the moose antlers on their backs, right? I mean, yeah, no. I mean, besides that stuff, nothing really happened in this. It did make me a little bit more optimistic about the series, but I don't think that it's going to change much, man. I don't think there's anything else to talk about really either. I'm kind of scared. I'm scared for when we start getting actual content in upcoming trailers for this show, because I think it's only going to add negatives. This trailer was vague enough to where we only saw visual things without any sort of context whatsoever, not even really characters acting at all. So I think this is the prime amount. This is the prime ratio of content to get where it can only help, unless I guess it could have been totally trash too. But anything more than this, man, I just think it's going to go downhill.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be good. This gave me, you know what? I say more hope, but you have to understand and actually like put that in relation to where my hope was for the series. Right? It's literally rock bottom. You can't go any lower. So it's like it gave me hope. It's like 1%, right? So my view on that, it still is very low. I'm not looking forward to this thing at all, and I'm not going to get myself excited for it, because even if it is like, let's just pretend it's like decent, if my expectations are really low, then I'm going to enjoy it. Just like how me and you with The Rise of Skywalker. Me and you, our first time watching it, because we were already exposed to all of the horrible, horrible spoilers for that movie, made it that much better for us. So that's the same way I'm looking at this series.
That's true. Listen, Rise of Skywalker was a legitimately positive experience for me seeing that in the theater. It was.
Me and you.
Because we were, yes. We were the only ones who were loving it.
We were like, what stage of like grief were we on when we walked into the theater, and everyone else was just like in acceptance or denial, right? You know,
denial.
Yeah, we were like, I don't know what stage we're at, but we felt great.
I think we blew past it. We were way past acceptance, because we accepted it before we went in there, man.
We already made amends with people about Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. We gave them gifts. We apologized. I mean, I agree. Well, what do you think is like even if this is acceptable to you, like baseline acceptable? What's that to you? Is that like The Hobbit 2?
No.
Because The Hobbit 2 was the best of the three, even though it was still not good.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm trying to think what my baseline would have to be for me to say, yeah, that was pretty good. Because I wouldn't even say it has to be better than The Witcher, and I hate The Witcher. It has to be better than that. I know it's your favorite series of all time, and you swear by it, but it has to be better than The Witcher.
I swear.
It has to be better than The Witcher, and it has to keep, because even if it doesn't feel that great at the beginning, I want to continue the tone of kind of like what Peter Jackson and Tolkien even has for that fantasy setting, and not delve any deeper into any weird politics of certain things and modern day, like when you have like a black elf and a white girl being together, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, is this supposed to be an allegory for 1960s Alabama? It's like, what the hell? Come on, guys. This is, you know?
No, dude, they wouldn't do that. I don't think they would. I understand that the media, pop culture that we're in will go to great lengths to make social commentaries. I understand that they will, but I don't think that they could possibly extend it into this. They won't do it. Like The Witcher kind of, I almost felt like was trying to do that for like maybe one or two lines in that second season.
Yeah.
And I feel like The Witcher is much more of a like progressively made show than anything Lord of the Rings was. I don't know. I mean, God, dude, my expectations are already so low without the notion that they would do something like that. If they do something like that, fuck.
Yeah, that would ruin it.
No bueno.
Even if it was
well, yeah.
Even if it was really, or not really good. Even if it was pretty good, if they put that stuff in there, I'd be like, okay, come on, guys. Gained a little hope. I'm at 1% hope right now. So
I'm the other 99%, and I'm not. I have no hope.